We think of active months for severe weather and tornadoes in the Arklatex. December usually isn't at the top of the list, but it was on this date in 1978. Bossier City was ground zero for an event still talked about today. Let's take a look back 46 years to the night of the Bossier City tornado.
The National Weather Service in Shreveport has issued a tornado warning for West Central Caddo Parish in northwestern Louisiana, West Central Bossier Parish in northwestern Louisiana.
The whole house was shaking. That's what really woke me up.
Were you in the house when it happened?
Yes, ma'am. She was.
What happened?
Well, we heard sounded like a bad windstorm and rain, and then it sounded like hail, so I got to shut the windows, and that's when I noticed it was flying debris and wasn't hail, and I knew it was a tornado, so I told my wife to jump on the floor.
It was December 3rd, 1978.
The killer storm was first sighted by the Shreveport weather radar as a large individual thunderstorm moving in front of another line of thunderstorms.
It was early that morning that a severe thunderstorm warning was issued in Shreveport, and not long after that, a tornado warning was issued.
And as it moved across us here at the regional airport, we did get strong winds, 40 mile an hour, heavy rain. And that was about it. And when the cell was about halfway between regional airport and Bossier, we noted a characteristic of a tornado forming.
That tornado would eventually touch down right over there on the south side of the Crossroads Shopping Center and then make its way northeast past the heart of Bossier, and it would turn out to be one of the strongest nighttime tornadoes to ever hit not just Bossier City, but almost anywhere in the country.
It was considerably humid, a lot of moisture present for that time of the year. Very warm conditions. In fact, high temperatures that day were reached close to midnight. Temperatures were near 80 degrees at midnight on December 3rd.
Not long after the tornado touched down in the Benton Road area right by I-20, it moved northeast and crossed right through here, Pierre Bossier Mall's parking lot. It leveled almost everything around Airline Drive at Interstate 20, with the exception of one building. It was the A-frame Whataburger, which stood right over there where the present-day Starbucks happens to be located.
It was 15 minutes from the time the severe thunderstorm warning was issued until the killer tornado was spawned at 1:50 a.m. The storm was tracked for 50 miles.
This is not that unusual. We have had 4 damaging tornadoes in the month of December since 1933 in the Shreveport-Bossier area. We do not have the frequency of tornadoes that they have in the Central Plains, but violent tornadoes, we have just as high a frequency if you look at over a 50-year period as any place in the United States.
The storm would eventually be rated an F4 with 260 mile-per-hour winds. That is the maximum in the F4 category before becoming an F5. And you know that F that is there, it stands for Fujita, Ted Fujita. That's who it's named after, and it caught his attention, and he actually came to our area after that storm.
Storms were surveyed much differently back in the late 70s and the whole decade of the 80s versus what they are now. Storm surveying was in its infancy, if you will. So once this tornado produced its damage, meteorologists from the National Weather Service here in Shreveport went out together with engineers, with scientists specifically, and in this particular tornado, since it was such a devastating tornado, a scientist named Ted Fujita, where we got the original name, the Fujita scale, came out and collaborated with Ernest Etheridge, who was the official in charge of the National Weather Service in Shreveport, and they did not only a ground survey but also an aerial survey of the complete damage path.
Go underneath the bed, and by the time we hit the floor, the window exploded into the house, and then the walls exploded, and the house was gone. We went to look for our kids and find them both, thank God, and we've been out here ever since trying to salvage what we can, start over again.
This was one of the most significant tornadoes to ever occur anywhere across the country, let alone the Arklatex.
Now, the two girls pictured there at the very end, they were Jana and Lisa Currington. Now, they unfortunately were the two that were killed that night when a car was thrown into the bedroom where the sisters happened to be sleeping. Also, I mentioned that the tornado was rated an EF4 tornado on the Fujita scale. However, the storm now is considered an EF5 tornado on the revised EF scale. And finally, a special thanks to Twin Blends Northwest Louisiana history hunters for sharing with me these images, and that's all courtesy of the Herman C. Smith Photo Collection. And I don't know if you noticed also, real quick, that voice you heard in that story. I pulled up all this old video. That voice you heard was a Mr. Rick Rowe. He actually covered the storm after it hit, again, 46 years ago.
I can't tell you how impressed I am with the footage that you were able to get your hands on.
We went and got a lot of that, but I can give credit also basically to when Rick Rowe put that story together many years ago as well. And but I think we've already shared stuff on social media, and folks have already been interacting with it. So many of them remember that particular date.
My goodness. Thank you, Patrick, for taking us back.